The Attorney-General has tonight signalled a shift away from mandatory sentencing for Indonesians who are caught crewing asylum seeker boats. Nicola Roxon says she accepts in principle the report of the expert panel which this week called for the courts to be given more discretion in dealing with boat crewmen. About 300 Indonesians are in custody facing people smuggling charges. Many worked as crew, but their lawyers argue they're victims of people smugglers too. Lateline followed one Australian lawyer into a remote Indonesian village in her quest to gather evidence on behalf of her client. For legal reasons, we can't reveal his identity. ABC correspondent Helen Brown has the story.
Perched on the water's edge on Indonesia's Sulawesi island lies one of many small fishing villages. It's an idyllic but impoverished hamlet where people go about the daily task of survival. But this place has also become part of something bigger. It's one of the hundreds of villages feeling the impact of Australia's justice system. Edwina Lloyd has taken on the case of an Indonesian fisherman accused of people smuggling. And the lawyer has travelled to her client's village to collect evidence and meet with his wife. Edwina Lloyd's client has spent 18 months in a maximum security jail.
We're fighting very hard so he can come home.
Bagaimana kondisinya sekarang?
Masih berduka.
Mrs. Suchi last saw her husband when he said he had to go to another place to work on a fishing boat. Edwina Lloyd says her client had no way of knowing what he was about to get into when offered $500 to move some people by boat from one island to another, and that keeping him locked up is not only misplaced justice, but is severely hurting his extended family.
Are you eating enough food?
Bagaimana makannya, Bu? Cukup? Makanan sehari-hari?
Ya, sehari-hari tidak.
Edwina Lloyd's visit has created a ripple of intrigue, and some hope that the man languishing in a jail far away might soon be home. The family is bewildered by his absence and the charges against him.
I was surprised. Why did he go to Australia? He said he will only go to Kupang, that he would take some people there, but we didn't know whom. But now I heard he's in Australia.
This trip requires one particularly difficult task. Mrs. Suchi is taking Edwina Lloyd to visit the gravesite of her and her husband's only son. The father never held the child, who died at the age of 1 from chickenpox. The family says it didn't have the money to take the baby boy to hospital 20 kilometres away, and the mother has had to bury their son by herself. She has a simple message for Edwina Lloyd to give to her husband.
Ya, pesan supaya dia cepat pulang. Anak-anaknya kangen. Termasuk ibunya.
Bisa diceritain nggak sih sehari-hari, apakah setiap hari ibu nangis atau gimana?
Iya, tiap hari kalau ingat dia.
Apa yang dilakukan?
Ya, dia menangis.
Back in the village, Edwina Lloyd takes more photos to document the circumstances her client has come from.
All that area is, you can smell the sewage. That's where they all go. None of them have toilets inside their house, but yeah, they all just use the outside area here, the back of the houses it looks to be. Members of the Australian public would have no idea that people live like this, and the Indonesian crew that are caught up in the people smuggling net are people who come from places like this.
There are villages like this dotted right across the 17,000 islands that make up Indonesia. And Edwina Lloyd says people smugglers are tracking further to find communities that have no idea about politics or the law.
It took us 4 hours to get here on a road that consistently got worse. It was not an easy drive, but it gives you some idea of what the people smuggling syndicates are willing to do to find the people they need.
At the end of a long day, the lawyer feels she's got what she came for.
It's been an exhausting day. It takes an emotional toll on you coming to the villages and seeing how people live and what they put up with. I got many photos that I needed to get today, and I think my job's done.
A job that she hopes will allow an Indonesian fisherman to return to the only life he's known.
Helen Brown, Lateline.